We've already seen tests of speed, agility, and precision, but today we have a pure test of strength. Hello everyone, I'm your host Quack, and today we have the 8th event of the season, block bumping. We saw block pushing last season, which is similar, but a bit different in that it was everyone in one lane, all going at once, and in block bumping, it's a staggered release for each member of the team. They will push a block down that ramp, and unlike last season, the ramp is angled, meaning there's a lot more potential for movement and a lot more strategy involved with pushing the block. It's a lot wider, there's a lot more lanes, as the Malamex are demonstrating here, with their first marble going to the right, their second marble leaning a bit more to the left, but they're piling on that near side. You can see here they're getting a little bit of roll distance, which is something that will definitely come into play in the main event. You can see that their early pushes really didn't get much going. It was the later pushes with more momentum that managed to get the block rolling and sliding across the track, which is really what you need to be able to succeed in this event. It's not just about getting solid pushes from each one of your members. And you can see how they balanced out in the end, getting all four across side by side, which is really what you need here. And the block will get right around to that 30 centimeter mark. Of course, it's the back of the block, as mentioned in the description, that is measured, but we begin with the Soaring Skies, currently the only team without a medal this season, and dead last in the standings, but trying to improve here. Got a gold medal in block pushing last season. Right now, off to a pretty good start, already moving it a good ways, and that was a very good push right toward the end there with a lot of momentum. It looked like it slid to a halt there with perhaps a bit more momentum. They could have kept it going, but that was still a pretty solid run. You can see how they managed to get out of each other's way for the most part, making not too much contact with the other team members, which is really the important thing to the strategy here. At 42.0 will be the benchmark that we see. We'll see if other teams will be surpassing that or falling short of it. Now the Stone Golems, the host team, currently struggling so far this season at the halfway point, trying to improve upon that, and they start with a pretty dull first impact, but we'll see if the second marble can do any better. Not really, but now they're getting a bit more momentum, and their fourth push is very strong. That really recovered them quite a bit, and that'll be close to the 47 range. That's already off to a great start for the Stone Golems, despite only being the second run. Of course, we don't know for sure how that will stack up, but that could end up being closer to the top of the order. And the hosts definitely need some points from this event, with already nearing the halfway point. But that was 46.3. I was wrong. It wasn't quite a 47, but still very close to it. Of course, the back edge of the block, meaning that if you don't want the block to be too rotated, because it'll be the back edge. So if it's rotated too sharply, then you'll be missing out on potentially 5 centimeters or more. But now we move on to the Checkmates, another team that's currently pretty low in the order, trying to improve upon that. And right now they're taking their time in the funnel, perhaps getting some practice for funnel endurance later on. But they get a very good push for their fourth push there. It looked like it was stacking up pretty poorly until that point. I don't know if that's going to be able to challenge the Stone Golems mark, but it might be able to get close, or at least take second place. You see their third marble got a bit of movement, and now they left that wide open space on the near side. That definitely helped, but because they were all piled on the far side, it'll only get 45.7. That will not be enough to take the provisional lead. Now the Rose Rollers, a team that medaled in the B-League block pushing last season, but we've already seen how chaotic and different this event is from block pushing, so we'll see if that translates. Their first push looks very solid from the Captain Orchid. Their second also looks pretty well. Their third threads the needle between the others, and they get a lot of momentum going. That was a very strong push for the Rose Rollers. That could be one of the contenders we saw. We've seen how each one of their members did an excellent job getting the block to keep on moving, especially their fourth member with that big solid impact to roll it down the track quite a bit, and a 47.2 will take the provisional lead. We've seen the numbers in block pushing get close to that 50 centimeter mark, but we'll see if that changes here with block bumping, if they can get a similar mark there. Now the Loaves of Bread, currently 12th in the standings, doing not quite awful, but considering they were leading the standings earlier on, it's not great. Right now they're not looking too good. They slide it down around this 46 mark. That actually might be able to take second place, but they didn't look too great up until later in the run. Their first couple pushes didn't look that great. Their third push actually recovered quite a bit by bouncing off of each other, and their fourth managed to get quite a bit of roll distance. None of their impacts look that solid, but they managed to get a lot of rolling and a lot of momentum, and a 46.2 will be third out of the 5 so far. So not bad, but not great. Now the Pollen Puffs, another team currently toward the middle of the standings, and we'll see how they can do here. And they're off. Their first marble doesn't do anything, really. The back of the block still unmoved. Their second doesn't do anything either. This is not looking good for the Pollen Puffs. Their third does a little better, and their fourth, it looks like they got the block wedged in the track there, angled a little too sharply, and I don't think that's going to be a good score at all. That looked very poor for the Pollen Puffs here. You can see how they had that block wedged and angled early on, and then it happened again later on when their fourth marble hit, when they all leaned to that far side, and that'll only be at 26.9. It's almost 20 points short of the next worst score, but disastrous for them. Now the Snapping Turtle, the team that had a disastrous score last time they were in a strength event last season, we'll see how they do here. Their first marble comes down immediately and has a much better push, it looks, than the Pollen Puffs did. Their second marble also does pretty decently, but they're not getting a lot of roll distance in. It's just solid impacts. Their fourth will magically thread the needle to get past all their teammates on the far side, and they did an excellent job with teamwork here, getting out of each other's way, but I'm not sure they had enough rolling going on to really be able to get a strong score here, and it looks like they barely even made it to the 40 centimeter mark, and actually they just barely did with a 40.2. That's only 6th out of the 7 so far, only beating the Pollen Puffs. But now the Flying Saucers, another team that's we haven't seen much of in strength events before. We'll see how they fare here, and they're off. Their first push looks decent, leaning to the near side this time. We've seen a lot go to the far, and their second marble settles in the middle. Their third, not really able to get anything going. Their fourth, oh no! It all came undone right there. Their third marble, it looks like their captain actually, Martian, getting stuck behind the rest, not able to push any further. And then their fourth marble, it looks like they got it wedged in the track. That was a disastrous run for the Flying Saucers. You can see there 23.1 is very poor for the Flying Saucers. Not going to be a good score at all in this event. But now that we're halfway through the runs, the Rose Rollers hold the lead for now. The Stone Golems, the home team, currently in second place, and the Loaves of Red just barely hanging on to the medal spot, but it's going to be difficult to hold that with 8 more teams to go. And you can see that divide, though, is happening there between 6th and 7th. But now let's see what the Slush Rush can do. Another team that's been strong in team events before. We'll see how they fare here, and their captain will come down and go to the far side. It's not great for their first push. Their second a little bit better, but still not getting any real movement going. Their third threads the needle between them, and out they have a bit more movement. Oh, but they get wedged right there. And I don't think it's going to be a good score for the Slush Rush either. It might be able to beat the Pollen Puffs and Flying Saucers, but it probably won't be able to do much more than that. And considering they're just barely hanging on to the top half of the standings right now, that's not what they want, but we'll have to see here. You can see right there, just getting a little bit wedged in the track, and a 27.0 is only 7th place of the 9 so far. We've seen how there's such a sizable divide between the 40 range and the 20 range. But now Team Pixie, a team that's been solid so far, currently 7th in the standings, and not usually known for their strength events, but we'll see how they do here. Their first push looks very strong, and they're sitting right in the middle for the others to avoid, which they get a good second push and a good third, but they need their fourth push to really get some good roll distance, and it looks like they do. I think that'll amount to a pretty solid performance here. I'm not sure that I'll be able to contend quite for the lead, but for a team that's usually not known for their prowess in this kind of event, definitely recovering quite a bit here and showing they still have what it takes with lots of very explosive impacts. It looks like they had a lot of speed coming down each one of their members down the ramp, but only a 45.1 will be toward the center of the results so far with 10 runs underway. Now let's see what the City Lights can do. Another team that's higher up in the standings right now, trying to close in on the top few, and their first push looks pretty solid, but not quite amazing. Their second will hit the other marble, which isn't usually what you want, but their fourth marble will get a lot of roll distance. That was a very strong push right toward the end, and I think that'll amount to a very good score that might even be able to take the lead. We'll have to see when the number comes on screen, but you can see how their third marble did a great job avoiding their teammates, and the fourth didn't manage to do the same thing, but they managed to hit with enough force that they will get down to 46.5. That was a very strong run that will put them into the silver medal position. Now the Ivy League, currently 5th in the standings as we keep ascending the order, and they're another team that would like some points to be able to contend. Their first marble does a decent job going very far to the far side. Their second and third coming in rapid succession. Oh, but they get wedged, and I don't think it's going to be a good score at all. Their fourth marble trying to get a little bit more momentum going, but it's just not going to happen. The Ivy League are going to have to settle for very poor performance here. That might be the worst of any we've seen so far, and you can see how getting the block wedged can absolutely ruin your total. And that was close to the 23 range, it looks like. Yes, it was a 23.7. Will be 11th of the 12 so far. Considering we're already 3/4 of the way through, it's not likely for them to gain many points here. And now the Red Rockets come out, currently tied with the King Crabs for third place, trying to move up there. Their captain does a decent job leading the way. And their second and third marbles both come very quick. Their fourth marble actually comes even quicker than that. They get a lot of roll distance. That was a good fourth push there to get a lot of momentum going. But I don't think that's going to amount to anything super substantial. They didn't have a lot of movement going early on, and despite their fourth marble tank doing an excellent job getting the team moving, it They had a lot of leaning to that far side, which hurt a lot of their momentum, and a 44.7 is decent, but only 7th of the 13 so far, right around the center. Is now the King Crabs, gold medalist in block pushing last season. We'll see if that translates to block bumping. And they are off. Their Captain Fiddler will not lead the way here. Actually, it's Coconut who shoves them aside, will lead them down. Their second and third marble coming quick, and they get a lot of momentum here. And their fourth push is also very good. This could be a contender here for the King Crabs. Already have 2 golds this season, trying to make it a third here. We'll have to see. Their first push wasn't great, but they kept on moving, and they had so much momentum. That was a really high impact, and that looked like a very strong push for the King Crabs. They saw 46.8. We just shy of the Rose Rollers. They will not be getting a gold medal here, but they might still be able to get a silver depending on how the Stingrays do. Another team that medaled in block pushing last season. We'll see if that translates the same way it did for the King Crabs. Their first push looks decent. Their second, not really able to get a lot going, and their third, also not doing great. Their fourth needs to be big here, and they do get a big fourth push, but it's only enough to get them just past 40. There just wasn't enough going on with their first 3 marbles to get anything done. By the time their fourth marble came down, it just wasn't enough, and I don't think that's going to be able to contend with really anybody. That'll probably be closer to the lower mid-pack of the results for this event. Is disappointing for a team currently trying to contend for a championship, and a 41.9 will be 10th out of the 15 so far. But now we move on to the championship leaders. The Flashbangs currently have an 11-point lead, trying to stretch it here and trying to win the title in their rookie season. Right now, their first marble, it falls a bit flat there. Doesn't have a lot of momentum. Their second will make contact with the first, and that's not usually how you want to do it. Their third is a bit better, and their fourth, oh, they get wedged once again. We've seen that befall so many teams, and it will happen to the Flashbangs as well. I don't think that's going to be able to contend at all. Their first 3 marbles, well, really their first 2 marbles, weren't looking too great. Their third did a much better job of getting the block moving, but by the time their fourth came, they just were all out of sorts, and right there, we've seen that spot be treacherous, and a 27.2 will only be 12th of the 16. But of course, with them failing, that means the Rose Rollers will be taking the second gold of the season, the King Crabs taking the silver, and the City Lights get the bronze. You can see the top 2 will both be red teams, and they're both teams that have had experience in strength events, so both showing that they have what it takes. The Rose Rollers, in getting their second gold medal of the season after winning slalom not too long ago, they've proven to be very strong in team events, and the King Crabs getting that silver, considering they're already in the top 4 of the standings, it will be very helpful. The City Lights as well already up there. But now the King Crabs will jump the Flashbangs into the lead, despite the Flashbangs having such a big lead beforehand. The Red Rockets jump up into 3rd place, but now there's really starting to be a top 2 battle developing as we head into the second half of the season with the King Crabs and the Flashbangs. So we'll have to see as that develops as we head into the 9th event, which will be basketball. So stay tuned, and thank you for watching.